Welcome back, everybody, to the CCA League Season 3 playoffs. I am DRF, joined by Drewmar today, and we have our Division 4 semifinals on deck for you here. We will be taking a look at the IVC Diamond Rays. They will be taking on Bash out of Purdue University. Drewmar, we talked a little bit about this right at the end of the intermission. This should be an exciting one.
Yeah, definitely. Both these teams are very strong in Division 4. IVC did go, I believe it was 5-0, and Bash only losing one set to OU Crimson, going 4-1 in Group A. So it looks like we're going to be starting immediately into Clamblitz Flounder Heights.
That looks like the case here. So let's go ahead and dive on in Flounder Heights. Clamblitz, let's take a look at these compositions. Immediately, I'm seeing that custom Jet Squelcher coming out, a weapon that we don't see too often, but I think has slowly been making kind of a resurgence, for a lack of a better term, here in the Splatoon comps.
Yeah, definitely. But what I'm noticing on the side of IVC is the double bucket comp they're doing with the Tri-Nouveau and the Slosher Machine. But it looks like two go down early for IVC, as Bash looks like they're able to take most of mid control. Also, Asheville on the side coming out for Bash. Typically, I would usually see Nemo in his place, so I haven't seen Asheville play in a while, so this is going to be very exciting.
Certainly, as both teams kind of just struggling for control of mid at this stage. It's going to be two down on the side of IVC. Make that a third going down, and that will be Asheville with a nice pick. Make that a full wipe now, and Bash is the first ones in the driver's seat here, passing around Clams, trying to build up something so that they can get their first push of the game going. The Octobrush going to find a nice pick, and now they still don't have the Power Clam quite yet, frantically trying to pass these clams around to each other, but they're not going to be able to pan them off in time, as this will be a great stop by IVC to prevent the first score of the game. A couple of jump outs as well, and that's honestly feels like a little bit of a missed opportunity out of Bash. They were in such a great position there, but just could not figure out where the clams needed to go.
Yeah, Bash had the perfect amount of clams to start a push and get it going, but that is a great flat bomb kill by Warmonk. But as I was saying, IVC played amazing defense in that push, but Bash just could not get all the clams to one person, and the push was ultimately just stopped. But we see Warmonk trying to form a power clam, getting all the way to 7 clams, and dropping back, it looks like, as clan economy is pretty much even on both these sides.
Clam Kami is certainly even here, as both teams now back to a struggle for mid. We definitely, need to see a couple players just start to make some, clean kills here, because it seems like there's just a lot of trades going on either side, and it's just an absolute bloodbath on these towers. And nobody's able to really get a solid control at this stage, and at this rate, we honestly might just be in for a one-and-done push that's going to lead to a victory.
Yeah, both these teams are pretty even right now. We got two halfway through this match. See Warmonk charge that Tri-Strike, not popping it yet. And we do see Clan Economy go into Bash's favor as two specials are charged. Warmonk finally pops those Tri-Strikes and gets some dispersion. Not able to find anyone. But we do still see Cynthia charged with that Zipcaster, and she does pop it.
Ooh. Great use of that Tri-Strike there. That's going to start to open things up for Bash here. Now they have 2 Power Clams in their hands. 3 down on the side of IVC. This should be 2 Power Clams in the basket, and it's going to be 1 in. The second's going to miss. Going to pick up the rebound here, able to put that one back. A great response there by Bash to be able to clean that up. Push this all the way down to 51 remaining, and they're going to try to hold this position as well, despite losing 2 of their members. Rooster going to be forced to back up just a little bit, and IVC now back in play. A great first push by Bash, 3.5 minutes into this game.
Yeah, one thing I do love watching in this game is seeing backlines play a little bit more aggressive, and I was able to see that a little bit in Asheville, all the way up in mid with that ZF charger, but eventually had to drop back into that sniper point. We do see Inkstorm pop, as well as a Toxic Mist, and IVC is gonna get a push of their own, it looks like, with one of them sadly going down, but it looks like the Tri-Strikes are popped.
Whew. Yeah, great use there. And now that's going to be 3 down once again on the side of IVC. Make that a delayed wipe, actually. So now a couple players trying to jump in and make that another wipeout. Wow, they have IVC staggered big time here with 40 seconds to play. And Bash is getting everything their way so far, able to just camp these ledges anytime that an IVC player kind of just approaches. They're able to just take them down so quickly, but of course, as I say that, they do lose 2 of their own. This is going to be IVC's last stand here in game number 1, able to take down a couple of key members here of Bash. Shutting down the Zipcaster as well is going to be huge. Now if they could just find this Z and F charger, this is going to really open things up for them underneath the basket. 10 seconds to go, but they do have the power climb, so they will get overtime, but do they have enough time and coordination here to get this last push off? There goes the ZNF charger. This could be IVC's opportunity they've been looking for all game. The triple ink strike coming out, 3 down on the side of Bash.
Oh my gosh, IVC is able to open the clan batch. Are they gonna able to get, oh my, that was 3 seconds.
What a response by IVC in overtime. This game came down to 2 pushes. 2 pushes.
Flounder Heights, how controversial you are.
That was just a wild game.
Trying so hard to be unbiased while commentating, but as a Purdue student, I am crushed after that game.
Hey, I mean, I think that's a very, natural feeling. I mean, you're a Purdue student. I think that is completely fair here for you to be rooting for Bash. So I don't blame you one bit. That is a bit of a heartbreaking loss. Bash was in control of that game for 4.5 minutes.
That's what makes it even more heartbreaking. They had that match. They had that match unlocked. I had a feeling all the way up until like the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, they really had that one on lock for so long. IVC really got control there at the last second, just flipped on a switch, and suddenly they were just killing every player left and right. If you were coming from the left, down. You're coming from the right, we got you. There was just nobody that was safe anymore on Bash going into overtime. IVC just transformed into a whole new team and managed to deal their first and last blow to Bash there in game number 1. They're gonna take this first game, and now we get geared up for game number 2. That will be Splat Zones on Mako Mart.
Yes, Splat Zones on Mako Mart. I see very few people who hate this map mode. There's very few. This is like, if you're playing in a tournament, Zones Mako Mart is there somewhere. So.
Yeah, almost certainly. I don't think I've seen a map list really without it recently.
Yeah. One thing I'm hoping to see sometime in the set is Rooster pull out their Staple Release with those beacons. I want to see it so badly. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen now as Asheville switches to that E leader. And we see a reflux by Sapphire on the side of IVC Diamond Race.
Ooh, yeah, the reflux is going to be a bit of an interesting choice here. It is going to give him a lot of paint coverage, and it's a lot more agile now since the buff. So I think this is going to be a fantastic choice here, as we heard. I mean, just take a look at how this reflux is moving right now. It's just like sliding on ice right now. But they're going to go ahead and get 2 down here. So despite Bash getting first control of the zone, it will be IVC that does find 3 down there, and they're going to get their first shot at the zone very quickly here, and they should get the lead and a lot more on top of that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that reflux is running any special charge, I don't think. But yeah, Bash just got pushed all the way back into their spawn. And once you get pushed back in Macklemore specifically, it is really hard to push back into mid, especially on zones, to try to recap. But we see a flank by the Tri-Slosher on Asheville. This turns out to be successful, and it's able to get Rooster as well. It's 3 go down on Bash.
Oh my goodness, IVC has woken up here in game number 2, establishing dominance from early on all the way to 20 remaining at this stage. It's going to come down to a kind of miracle play here from Bash if they want to try to neutralize the zone. 2v2 situation. They will get the 2 ink strikes down, but nobody can get to the zone in time. Those ink strikes were just missed. And that's going to be unfortunate for Bash once again, as they are going to fall short. IVC taking game number 2.
Yeah, if those tri-strikes were popped a little bit further away from each other on the zone, that probably would have stabilized zone. But IVC had like complete control of that entire match.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much.
I feel like even if the zone got neutralized, they probably would have taken it back like not even a second later.
I mean, we did see Bash get first control. It kind of just seemed they got to the zone faster, really. And I'm surprised that they actually held the zone as long as they did. It really seemed like IVC was taking their time to just be able to build up some of those specials. And I think they just kind of, unleashed it all at once. They opened the floodgates, and suddenly Bash was just overwhelmed. They just could not find a way to get themselves back into that game. So IVC, very dominant there. But we did see Bash make a great effort there at the end, though. I think if they needed to put all 3 strikes onto the zone, the first strike was a little bit off towards that right stack instead. And I think if they had put all of them, a little bit better placed around that zone, it would have gone into Bash's favor.
Yeah, definitely. But it looks like we're going into game 3, which is Tower Control and Museum. Yeah, Alfonsino. And it looks like Bash has staying a little bit on their team picks. Alright. I'm saying... She can't hear me. Rooster, pull out those beacons. Please. I want to see it.
I was gonna say, maybe you should contact Aster, and Aster can get in touch with the team.
Hold on, is Aster online right now? He might. Yes, he is. He's on the call right now. Maybe we can dip for a sec.
If you need beacons to appear, Aster is the man to do it. So, as we've all gotten to know, especially last season in Season 2, Aster is sort of just one of those legends in the CCA. Definitely, I know that Aster's also been a key, coaching figure for both of these Purdue teams, correct?
Yeah, definitely. Well, Bash now, since Triple P no longer his team anymore, but yeah, Aster was a great coach for us for the 6 months that we had. But we do see these team comps switching it up for IVC a lot, and Rooster still is not going with this.
Well, what they are going with is the junior, and they're going to just try to, stick with what they've been running so far, as we do see Shabby making an early move there, trying to get a couple of quick picks early on, but Rooster going to go ahead and try to play a little more Battle Junior here and start pushing up, getting a nice pick there early on, going to pop this bubble to help their team establish a little bit of mid control. I think that's going to be a great early use here for their team, as now they're going to find 2 down on the side of IVC, but they're going to lose 2 of their own as well. This tower is going to stall a bit at this first checkpoint, as both Shabby and Sope are going to collapse in on this tower, but Asheville is going to force that first checkpoint. A great play there to clear it before they ultimately lose control.
Yeah, Asheville, great job able to take that first checkpoint to at least get the game over quicker if they're able to get another push. We did see an amazing slap bomb kill by Rooster a while ago, but that was a great snipe on us on the side of IVC, and the tri-strikes aren't able to do anything. We do see the E-leader charge with a wave breaker, and 3 were down on the side of Bash right as I'm speaking. So IVC is getting with that push of their own. Already has lead, but 3 go down on IVC.
And make that a delayed wipe on top of it. So Bash is going to come up with a nice pick there, and they will be able to reset this tower. I think that was essentially the stop that they were looking for, that they were not able to get in that last game. So now this is going to be a lot different for them, because they did get that initial stop that they were struggling to get in the first place. So now that's going to allow them to, reestablish some positions, kind of just slow things down a little bit once again. But of course, as I say that, it's IVC with 3 down on Bash, and they're going to start pushing up once again. Shabby with another pick, and Shabby continues to be on a tear here as they are adding more points to the scoreboard, and that's going to be the second checkpoint falling.
I gotta look. What's Shabby's season?
Oh, Shabby with the 4th pick, and Shabby continues their tear. They're gonna get the 5th pick with the hammer. Will they get the 6th? Shabby with a 6th piece. Will they keep going? No, finally gonna get shut down after 6 glorious picks, and that's gonna extend the lead immensely for IVC. And now they are at 14 remaining. The tower will stall, and this will be a reset. Bash gonna have to figure out how to pick up the pieces from here and stop Shabby. Able to do so right there and then, actually. Cynthia with a beautiful double, and that's gonna allow Bash to try to get themselves back into this game. Rooster with a fantastic bubble on the tower, and that's going to allow them now to safely push this tower a little bit forward and start to establish some players onto Plat. Warmonk and Rooster going to be making that move, but of course it's Shabby that's going to try to slow things down with a flank.
How did I forget about playing against Shabby? I don't even get that. That's ridiculous. But we do see Bash starting to push for their own, getting the second checkpoint as 2 go down for IVC. Are they going to be able, that's 3 down for IVC, is Bash going to be able to take this checkpoint, and they are. Shabby is able to get a pick on Warmonk right there, and Astro trying to get that pick, but it's unable to do so, as Cynthia, avoids it, but at first not more, as IVC is able to neutralize this tower and bring it back to mid as a Stampus pops.
Oh, and it's gonna just be Shabby doing Shabby things once again. Gonna be slowed down just a little bit there, but coming up with a couple more big picks. So now that's gonna allow their team to start moving up once again. It's Sope that's gonna have that splash wall there that's gonna allow this crab trap really set up, but no, the bomb from behind will shut that one down. I think that's really gonna allow Bash to breathe a little bit, but they really need to do something about Shabby and Sapphire here. As they are continuing to ride this tower, they're gonna add some more points to the board. Cynthia trying to take that fight at the very top, but it's just a distraction as IVC will ride this tower to its final destination and secure the knockout.
IVC had almost complete control of that entire match. Bash was able to get a decent push all the way past checkpoint 2, but IVC had that strong push in the beginning. Shabby, of course, getting 6 picks in a row. But yeah, IVC takes a dominating game 3 in this match.
Yeah, I mean, it was a much better game for Bash, though. A much, much better game.
Yes.
We saw them get that early control that we had seen from game 2, and that looked like a little bit more of a sustainable push that they had established early on. So they managed to at least get that, and then, the inevitable retaliation there from IVC as they managed to clear the first checkpoint, I think it might have been first 2 checkpoints, and they got the stop, right where they needed to. And were able to kind of just help reestablish, position in mid. Ultimately, IVC managed to run that all the way down to 14 remaining, but Bash actually managed to come back with 2nd and 3rd pushes, which is what we haven't seen from them so far in the set. So I think that's, showing the progression for them as they're starting to figure out this IVC team little by little, but at the same time, they're also running out of time little by little as IVC is up 3-0 in the set.
Yeah, it's definitely getting very scary for Bash. I am looking at Twitch chat at the same time, and I did notice, I believe it was it Ice Steve from OU Crimson saying the best way to counter Shabby's Splatana would be a midline slayer, a midline player. And they're definitely lacking that because I see Nemo has not been subbed in at this moment. I did see Nemo in Twitch chat as well. So, Bash is going to be really scary if they don't change up their comp. I could see IVC just sweeping 5-0.
I mean, with the pace that they're playing at right now, it certainly is a possibility. Bash really only has wiggle room to make one more big mistake here. That's all they can afford. Because after this, it is match point. point in favor of IVC. So let's start to have them figure it out now, so that way they can start to close the gap, you know, little by little. You just still have to take it one game at a time. You can't get too far ahead of yourself. But yeah, so Rainmaker, Scorch Gorge is where this next battle will take place. I think if IVC sticks with the same combo, it's going to be very difficult for Bash to work around.
Yeah, plus Splatoon is very strong on Scorch Gorge. But it did seem like Warmonk was taking his time trying to pick his weapon, and I will want to know what he decided to go with, and he goes with the V-Shot! Oh, this is gonna be fun to watch. Okay, Warmonk, his Trizukas are nuts, and I'm surprised he didn't pull out the vanilla shot sooner. I am so excited to see what he's able to do with this. Holy crap.
Well, taking a look here, it will be the pop going in favor of Bash. IVC opting instead to take this time and establish as much of their yellow paint as possible across their side of the map. Just gonna, from early on, limit the movement options for an early Bash push, because we've seen Bash with fantastic first pushes in, you know, the opening couple minutes. So it looks like IVC's game plan here is, hey, let's just let them have mid. We're just going to go ahead and try to establish the early positioning to stop this and make it as difficult as possible by putting as much of our own paint down.
Yes, definitely, and I am also noticing that IVC is running a double tactical con, which is something you really don't see in like matter anything with the Tri-Saucer Nouveau and the NZAP. Really interesting pick by the IVC, but we do see, I believe, one tactical was popped. We see 3 specials charged by Bash, as no one has picked up the Rainmaker yet as Shabby goes down.
But this bubble might allow them to help find another pick, but no, it's going to be Bash that goes 2 down on either side now, as this just continues to be a bloodbath in mid. It's both of these teams struggling to be able to get that first control. This is kind of becoming a throwback to game number 1, but with 2 down the side of IVC, this could be Bash's opportunity to make a move, but it's going to be difficult with the E-Leader's laser pointed right at you. The Trizuka gonna try to pick him off, but no, not gonna be the case here, as IVC, everybody is back online, and this is not gonna result in a push for Bash quite yet. They just need to hold this position now and wait for IVC to hopefully play back into their hands a little bit, but then they're gonna get staggered here big time, and this will now be an opportunity for IVC to pick up the Rainmaker for the first time 2 minutes into this game, and this will most likely be a free first checkpoint.
The fact that no one picked up the Rainmaker in the first 2 minutes of this match really shows that IVC is playing like, they're playing like slow, but it's working. They're waiting until they're able to get a definitive push going 3, maybe even a quad down, until they make that push. And they were able to get an easy first checkpoint, but 3 of them go down as Bash plays amazing defense, and the Rainmaker resets.
Great patience there. I agree. You know, it's kind of almost a little bit of an oxymoron. I guess a slow burn is probably the better way to say that here, because IVC does play with such patience, but they're also aggressive at the same time. So, you know, a little bit contradicting. So that's why, you know, it's slow, but, you know, it just continues to burn away at these leads. And that's been successful for them so far. You know, Bash has not really found the answer to that quite yet. They've been able to get a couple of, you know, good 1v1s in, but not been able to quite surprise them in the same way that IVC has, as they're going to make a move for the pedestal, but they're going to be just short. With the wipeout, that is the end of the push. IVC with a fantastic stop.
Yeah, all of Bash's members go down after that push, and IVC is able to set up in mid with a tacticaler deployed. Is able to take all of mid control as they try to push this left side again after getting a checkpoint, and it looks like they're able to almost get a little bit further. They are able to get to 63 until the Rainmaker goes down by Warmonk's Trizuka. Of course, did you see the Tri-Saucer is no longer alive, sorry, as Warmonk does pick up the Rainmaker, trying to either reset it or maybe trying to make a push out of it. Doesn't can't really tell at this moment.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what the objective was there either, to be quite honest. It seemed like that they were maybe thinking of a reset. They were maybe trying to get a push out of it. It could have just been a bit of a lack of communication as well, as we once again are gonna see Shabby making the move here. Shabby with a triple, and that's gonna open things up for IVC, and the march is on towards the pedestal with 20 seconds to play. They'll push this one all the way to 16 remaining, and this push will momentarily stop here, but it's no one else except Shabby trying to keep this push alive, able to stall enough for their teammates to jump in, but it's now going to be up to Bash to pick up this Rainmaker, and they will have to take this one coast to coast if they want to keep this game alive.
I have hope in Bash. Definitely, I'm hoping they're able to get at least to the checkpoint. It looks like Bash is trying to set up some mid-control. It doesn't look like anyone is going for a flank on the side of IVC, but we do see that E-leader presence is terrifying for overtime. As there's only 30 seconds left on the timer for the Rainmaker, they have to dunk that quickly, or else that is game. But it looks like it's going to be pushed as that foot goes down, as IVC takes game point, match point, going up 4-0 against Bash.
Oh man. IVC strikes again. A fantastic showing from them. You know, that one was a lot slower of a game, as we said. Bash, I think, did a great job in the early game once again, but IVC eventually managed to break through, add just a bunch of points to that. You know, they capitalize on those 2-3 down situations so well, and they're able to just punish it. I mean, once you get a couple of players down, you know that Bash is going to start staggering from there, because IVC just gets on a roll, and it's just so difficult to come back from.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like we're going to Game 5. Clan Bliss Ink Flap, but I will say, going back to Game 4, I was just thinking in my head, Shabby really just watched Nitro from Storm Cells in Group 4B, and it's like, let me see what I can do with that. And just completely dominated all of Bash in that last, like, minute and a half.
Yeah, you know, and I think it certainly is a little bit tough, because I think you had mentioned earlier that Nyemo is kind of a key piece for Bash that just doesn't seem to be available today. They do lead the Bash's team in the average KA department at 11.9, and I believe they are third in Division 4 in KAD ratio at 2.44. So to me right now, it seems like that Bash is sorely missing Nyemo.
Was that for all of Division 4 or just 4A?
For all of Division 4, third place in that KAD ratio.
I actually didn't know that. You know something new every day. I guess that's not on the stat sheet. I guess that's what you staff have. But, alright. Reverse sweep right now. Kidding. I don't know. Maybe. We'll never know. We'll have to see. But I know definitely playing against Bash as like a sister game for both of our teams, Triple P and Bash, Clan Bliss is our weakest mode. By far. It is not close. So I am scared but excited to see what's going to happen right now.
Well, there's only one way to find out as we dive into game number 5. This is match point for the IVC Diamond Rays. If they win this, they punch their tickets to the Division 4 Grand Finals. Let's take a look at these comps. A couple of adjustments on either side, actually.
Not seeing that heavy of changes. We do see Warmonk go back to that T-Tech and Asheville going back to that ZF Charger. We do see the Crab by Soap on the side of IVC Diamond Rays. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But it looks like the Slatana on the side of IVC goes down early. I believe that is Shabby again with that Slatana wiper. We do see the Dualies trying to get a flank. It doesn't look like they're able to, but it looks like they're just charging that Crab tank right now. Just trying to get a good opening, trying to shark as best as they can. As this game is still pretty even right now.
Yeah, and I mean, Hey, we
Never
are
mind.
very familiar with it at this stage, that these opening fights between these two teams are very neutral. It just is a constant back and forth between the two, just getting pick for pick, and just trying to stagger each other, but nobody able to make that first move for quite a while. But that's going to be 3 down on the side of Bash, and this first push could be coming sooner than we expect, as the clams are trying to be passed around by IVC. Not quite enough to build up that power clam quite yet. They're going to do so now and try to make their first push with this triple ink strike. Kami Fry going to be able to get the first dunk of the game. And with the nice snipe there as well, Warmunk was pinned into a corner. And now the clams are piling in for IVC as they bring the scoreboard all the way down below 50. And with 2 down, this might be the end of the push, but not before Soap is able to throw in 1 more clam. So 44 remaining is where this basket will close at, and IVC is once again in that driver's seat.
Yeah, IVC had such a strong push. Just throwing those clams to their teammates to form power clam on top of just coordinating the specials with that tri-strike, I believe. And it was a tri-strike and something else, but they were just able to push all the way into Bash Clan. And it looks like they're able to again as the Asheville goes down, but Cynthia is able to take them out, and it's only the E leader on the side of IVC. It looks like that was only a one and done push, but Bash just has to get these clams. They have to get these pushes. They have to coordinate, or else they're going to be sent home. End of CCA.
Yeah, and there's already starting to run out of time. It feels like we're halfway through this game, and Bash has not had an opportunity to get a solid control of mid quite yet. It's been a constant push by IVC as they've been just continuing to chip away here. The hammer coming out once again, and that's a wipeout. 2 power clams being thrown into the basket, and this could be it. They only need 1 more clam. Will it come in time? It looks like it will, as Kami Fry will deal the dagger clam right there, and IVC Diamond Rays will be advancing to the Division 4 finals.
IVC is such a strong set from all 4 of those players. Bash just didn't look like they were playing aggressive enough to match IVC's aggression, and ultimately go down 5-0. My heart shatters a little.